F1 and GT cars, two of the world's most popular racing categories. And as we have the Italian Grand Prix at Monza coming up, we thought we would show you the differences between these two iconic classes around the same circuit. So in this video we will go through the key differences between the two classes and how your driving style needs to change too, and then we'll pick out some of the key talking points on the Monza circuit. So F1 and GTs, what's the difference? F1 cars are purpose-built race cars, designed solely to be driven on FIA Grade 1 listed tracks, and there are no added extras. The car is as light as it possibly can be, and there is nothing there that it doesn't absolutely need. GT cars, on the other hand, are built from the base of a road car. This means that they are very heavy and very large too. So let's discuss driving styles and techniques. Trail braking is crucial in F1 cars because as the speed decreases, there is less air going over the front wing, meaning the car isn't being pushed into the ground as much, and with less weight over the front axle, locking up is a real possibility. So to alleviate this, trail braking allows you to decelerate smoothly in order to reduce the possibility of this happening. GT cars still need trail braking as they are heavy and you want to avoid locking up. But usually, especially with ACC, you'll have plenty of ABS options to aid you in preventing this. Your driving style is crucial when going between each class because they each reward a different approach. F1 suits an aggressive driving style, as with its stiff setup, there is minimal relative weight transfer, meaning you can be aggressive with steering and braking. Of course, there is no traction control, so you have to be somewhat careful with your throttle, but even with this, you can still be quite aggressive. GTs reward a cleaner style. Smooth inputs all around maximise the performance from these cars. This is because the relative weight transfer is a lot more than F1 cars, meaning you have to take care not to throw the car off balance by any sudden movements. Now speaking of balance, there is one final topic to discuss before we jump into the Monza circuit, and that is curbs. Raised curbs and sausage curbs can cause your car to lose balance. In a GT car with its much softer relative approach, you can get away with almost completely abusing the curbs. In an F1 car, however, do this at your own risk. F1 cars are designed to work within a very small window of performance. For example, each winglet is designed to funnel air to a specific part of the car, and it is all a very fragile system that the slightest alteration could completely ruin. Additionally, with a stiff setup, the suspension wouldn't just dampen the travel. That's why if you go over a curve through a tight corner, the car will jump, upsetting the balance, making it much easier to lose control. So now that we've got the basics, let's look at Monza. Everything that we have spoken about, while factually true, will also have a degree of leniency depending on whether you're in real life or on a simulator. And even on a simulator, the handling physics between games can vary drastically. So to try and keep things as even as possible, we're going to be looking at the differences on Assetto Corsa. Same game, same track, just two different cars. The 2017 Ferrari SF70H and the 2017 Porsche 911 RSR. So Monza, the temple of speed and home to some of the most violent sausage curbs of any track in the world. It is a fast lap regardless of the car you're driving, and so there are plenty of heavy braking zones, like the Turn 1 chicane. You can brake around 50 metres later in the F1 car. Both cars require trail braking, though in the GT car, you can use the curbs to optimise your line. There are sausage curbs, but in the GT car, you're able to use them if you straighten the run enough. The Lesmo at turn 6 is interesting, as in the F1 car, it's almost a non-thought. Quick blip of the brake, and the downforce helps the car stick through the corner. It is also banked, which helps the car stick to the road as well. The GT car, though, is a different story. You see, because the Porsche doesn't have the same level of grip as the Ferrari, this is where racing lines come into question. A wide sweeping line is great for the F1 car, as it can keep its minimum speed up. But to get the GT car around, a shallow entry, using trail braking and the slight bank to push weight to the front of the car means more force onto the front tyres, equaling more grip and allowing the car to go around the corner. Ascari at turn 8 is riddled with sausage curbs, and touching any curb through this section in an F1 car results in a very quick trip to the barrier. In the GT car, it's slightly more lenient. The car moves around a lot over the curbs, but you should only be making minor correction inputs to keep the car pointing forwards. You have to manage the throttle a lot during this section in the Porsche, but the Ferrari doesn't require that. Finally, the world famous Parabolica, a long sweeping right-hander that is rather easy in an F1 car, with a late brake, flick the car in, and almost straight back to 100% throttle. In a GT car, however, we must use the shallow entry again to get the front tyres to grip and then heavily modulate the throttle. Additionally, the car doesn't need all of the space as it doesn't have the acceleration of an F1 car, so we can take the shallow inside line and exit to shorten the distance to the line. There are quite a few differences between driving the two cars. Around Monza, they are significantly less prominent than other well-known circuits due to the lack of downforce heavy corners, barring of course Parabolica. But the biggest feature of this track that causes a difference in the cars is the curbs. The normal curbs cause instability in the F1 car, but the sausage curbs are basically a shortcut to a DNF, whereas the GT car is slightly more lenient. But if you're still struggling to master the circuit in either one of these two cars, then look no further than Track Titan. Track Titan can not only show your session insights right down to your throttle and brake traces, but can also provide personalised tips based on your individual performance. Additionally, as you start to get more accustomed to the platform, you could toggle on Advanced Mode, which allows you to view the data the way professional drivers would do in real life. By signing up on Track Titan with the code F1GT, you can get 30 days of the limited data insights for free to help you get quicker, faster. But that about sums it up for this video. We hope you found it useful and can transfer your skills easier between the two car classes now. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.